All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Three Chicks in a Pod / Chicks and Salsa. I'm Megan Price. I've got Candy right next to me and Carrie right below me. How's everybody's week going?
It's going good.
Candy, how's yours?
It's going good. I mean, I will say for anyone that is vacationing in Florida, right now the temperature doesn't feel like our normal Floridian type weather. It is right now outside 56 degrees and it got down to like 40 last night. So that's typically
Oh,
not
that is cold, very cold for y'all.
for people that come down here to, vacation and they're expecting 80s. Yeah, but no
You said
fret.
what is your temperature right now?
Right now it's 56 degrees outside.
Oh, I'm 57. Megan, are you warmer than us?
81?
Oh, you win. You win.
Yeah, so we're having a heat wave. If we hit 82 tomorrow, it'll be a record high. I'm quite used to this in the panhandle of Texas. You never know what you're going to get. So, the square part of Texas, I'm like in the middle of that. So I'm 4 hours from Albuquerque. So we get some lesser weather off of the mountain range right there. I'm also about 4 hours from Colorado. So we get some of the lesser weather from that direction as well. Then when the wind blows, which it always blows, we get it from the south too. So you just never know. We have such extremes when it comes to the weather here in Amarillo. I'm not surprised. It was cold last week. It'll probably be cold again in a couple of days.
Yeah, we're supposed to be back to 82 on Thursday, so not
couple of years couple of years ago, right after Easter, 7 inches of snow fell. So I don't know what it's going to be from day to day
you could
here.
be the Northeast like they got in New York and up there, Rhode Island, where they got what?
Yeah, thinking about everybody up there.
So since I was just out there, they had the snow that was there was just about gone.
Oh,
and
no.
where I
And then
was,
the
they had
powder.
18 inches. So
Yikes.
I'm really thankful that it was a different week that it chose to happen,
Right.
because I
Very
really would
much
not have
understand.
did not want to drive. I'm glad I didn't have to drive home. I do want to take a moment to offer my condolences and support to all of the law enforcement in Southwest Missouri area, especially for Christian County and Webster County, who last night, Christian County lost two deputies in a very horrific, violent way. And then there was a Webster County deputy and another Christian County deputy injured in the same way, the same situation. So I want to offer my condolences, my support, and just to let the law enforcement community, especially here local, but nationwide, your job is not easy. It is not always all bells and whistles and pomp and circumstance. So just know that I care.
Yeah.
Appreciate that very much. All right, so let's talk about the Olympics a little bit. So we just had the wrap up of the Winter Olympics in Milan. We know that they will be going to LA in 2028. Is that correct? 28 for the Summer Games. And so they're coming back to the United States. We know that they're going to be going back to Salt Lake, Utah as well a few years after that. They're going to have to, I was watching them say that they were going to have to spend some millions to redo the courses and stuff there, but I'm sure Milan probably did the same thing. They, every country where they go, I'm sure they invest a lot. I enjoyed the opening ceremonies, but I loved the closing ceremonies. So I am a huge fan of Ludovico Einaudi, and one of his songs was featured. His dad, he was related to someone that was actually one of their second president there. He in 05 himself, he was awarded the Officer of the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic. He trained at the Conservatorio Verdi there in Milan. He was classical at first, and he gets a lot of criticism because he incorporates all different genres of music now. And so, if you get out in the classical world, you have people that like him and people that don't like him. But I was kind of dozing, to be honest. I was going to sleep a little bit, and then I heard the song come on. I was like, I recognize that song. I love that composer. And so got up and ended up watching the closing ceremonies, and I thought it was fabulous.
That's awesome. I unfortunately did not get to watch because I was delivering pizzas.
So he actually has a Tiny Desk concert as well, and he had only 3 other musicians with him. So he had somebody that was on the violin, the cello, and then a percussion, and then obviously himself because he's a pianist. And it was incredible the sound that they were able to come out, that they were able to make the music feel so full for something that is intended for an orchestra. How they made it sound so close with just 4 instruments. So later on, once the show is done, I will add the Tiny Desk concert link in the comments.
Sounds fantastic.
Nice.
It was really good. And, you know, Tiny Desk is only like 20 to 30 minutes long. So it's not something that's going to take up a whole lot of your time either. So, but it was so good. So good.
Awesome.
So what was y'all's favorite parts of the Olympics this year?
As always, the backstories are the ones that get me. I mean, I do like watching. I got to see the women's hockey win, and you know, live. We recorded the men's on a tape delay because, quite honestly, neither one of us wanted to get up as early as necessary to catch it.
Right, it was early. I get up at 6:30 every morning and feed my dogs because they're on a schedule, and everybody was like, "We're ready," and I was like, "I'm not ready."
No, we did get up at 8, which was already, so we were an hour behind, but I was okay with that.
Mm-hmm. The thing I liked about the men's hockey, though, I loved when they went and got the kids from Grudeau's kids, you know, from the hockey player who, you know, died. And when they went and brought them over there, and they held up Dad's jersey, and they took a picture with all of them on the gold medal. I really thought that was a touching moment. I really liked that.
They have also added on his bio page, I saw this, that posthumously he won the gold in Milan. So they have listed that as one of his achievements.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that for
he passed away in a car wreck, is that right?
He and his brother were on a bicycle, were riding bicycles and were hit by a drunk driver in 2024. So this is the second season without them.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay.
And just for the
so
record,
for the United States,
the audience for the TV audience for the men's was the most watched sporting event before 9 a.m. ever.
I love that.
I thought that was a cool little tidbit. I mean, how many sports events happen that early, but you know.
Well, you know what? I had the pleasure, and just want to shout out, you know, we saw Jay with his comment about USA basketball. So I'm credentialed with them and want to shout them out because they continue to keep me on their media distribution list, and had a chance to cover the Tokyo games, which we know were deferred from 20 to 21. And Tokyo, time-wise, I was up at 3 and 4 o'clock every morning talking to coaches, talking to athletes. It was rough. So everybody that did the media coverage, I feel for y'all, and very much respect y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So for
I
the
did
United
notice.
States.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know how many people saw this. Was it yesterday or today? Lindsey Vonn could have lost her leg. Like amputation was on the table. So, you know, what an amazing feat that they were able to do in Italy to help her save her leg. So, you know, that's pretty exciting or interesting. And I think that even not home, our people are being taken care of. So, you know, shout out to Italy and the host for hosting the games, for taking care of world players, not just their players. So.
Right.
Mhm.
So for the United States, we medaled the most in freestyle skiing. So we had 3 golds, 4 silvers, 1 bronze, 8 total in freestyle skiing. In speed skating, we had 2 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze. In alpine skiing, we had 2 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. Figure skating, we had 2 gold. Shout out to Alyssa. I thought her routine was just amazing. There were a couple of the Japanese ladies that had really good routines as well. I can't remember her name exactly, but she was the taller Japanese lady. And she just barely missed a turn a little bit. She didn't fall, she didn't anything, but her foot just did not rotate the exact right way. And she ended up taking silver, but I thought her routine was amazing as well.
I thought the ice dancing was really cool. And there was a little controversy with the ice dancing on scoring and stuff like that, but I liked some of the ice dancers too. Mm-hmm.
I will point out that these people are running and jumping on skinny blades, razor sharp blades, and doing it gracefully. And it's a long shot for me to be able to run across the yard gracefully. So that always amazes me. I'm just floored by how graceful they look out there.
Let me see. I'm trying to read what Orlando said. He said, the great Winter Olympics. Now we can enjoy NCAA basketball, baseball, and softball games. Yes. The NBA better hope that they can hype it up, because they will only be important when the finals come around, or the Western Conference finals. He's taking San Antonio versus Oklahoma City, and I think that is a very good chance for that. Really appreciate you watching, Orlando. He's somebody who has been listening to me since 806 Sports Days. Shout out to Kenny and the whole crew. Appreciate that. And the people that still listen to me regardless, whether I'm not on the radio anymore, but I still pop up on the podcast from time to time. I agree. We will talk basketball shortly after we get done with the Olympics. Let's see. I'm finished real quick with hockey. Obviously, 2 gold. Incredible both performances. This is the first time that the men have gotten a gold medal since the Miracle on Ice. And then for the ladies, it was a legendary run to the finals. It was a shutout for everybody. Nobody scored on the ladies until the championship game. So what an incredible run. And I think that they just deserve so much credit. And then bobsledding, we took a gold, and then we had 2 bronze. Cross country skiing, we had 2 silver and a bronze. Snowboarding, we had a silver and a bronze. And I thought that was interesting too, because that's something that we normally dominate in so much, and not quite as much this year. So, the evolution of sports there. In curling, we took a silver. In the luge, we took the bronze. And then in the short track, we also had a bronze.
Yes.
We had some gold in speed skating too. I don't know, because we had Jordan from actually Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. We had 2 gold, 2 silver, and 1 bronze in speed skating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and something that I thought that was highlighted really well, and I know we talked about Lindsay, and she's 41, I believe. We also had a bobsledder that was 40 as well. And so the ability to, I don't want to say defeat Father Time, because Father Time's undefeated, but to defy him and to continue on. I love that. So I think we saw a lot of that in this Olympics.
Wasn't there one of the guys on the curling team who was 56, I think, or something?
Right.
If I remember. Right. So yeah, I mean,
I'll be honest, I don't know how much athletic ability it takes for curling. Now, it takes a lot of athletic ability for me to even be able to stand on skates. So maybe it takes more than I know, but it's fun to watch. I only watch it every 4 years, but I just don't know a whole lot about it. Now, those that are doing
it's more like a chess strategy game as opposed to on ice is what is how I kind of equate it. But I think it's because they were like, well, if you did this, this, and this, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but then I don't get it. So that's
I'll say that I
my
enjoyed
equation
the
of success too.
controversy as well. The controversy in the curling this year, the Canadians were pissed.
Mhm.
I don't think they were happy with the U.S. in a couple places, but
Well, it wasn't the U.S. that called them out
Right.
because they were double tapping and they got disqualified, and there were fireworks on the ice.
Mhm.
Who would have thought that curling would be that kind of entertainment? I love it.
I was practicing my curling face.
Your curling face, that's hilarious.
See,
Okay, well, let's slide over to NCAA women's basketball. We are at the very end of conference regular season, and we will be sliding into conference tournaments. Championship week. We are almost there. Next week will be the final week of regular season. Conference tournaments are set to start the 3rd through the 5th, I think, for the women's, and then the men's are a week after that, obviously. Currently, UConn is still sitting at number 1. They are also undefeated. They are 29-0. And as much as I like the crew, I think that you'd have to take into account that they play in the Big East, man. They don't take a whole lot of non-conference games that really test their strength. They did play Tennessee. They took a few. Tennessee is not the same. They don't have the same punch that they had last year. Tennessee's coach, Kim Caldwell, is known for doing substitutions every minute, 45 seconds. She rotates 4 to 5 players every single 2 minutes. And last year was the first year that we saw that. But as we know, we've got tape on it. We know people were able to come up with game plans. And so while they're a good team this year and they are ranked, they don't carry the same punch that they did last year. So it's a very common thing. I am interested to see what UConn looks like after they win the Big East tournament, clearly. They kill me with that. They need to join a real conference, man.
well, it'll give them more street cred. So,
That's what I'm
so to
saying.
speak.
So I'm interested to see what they look like in the big tournament. Like, are they this good? Because they have a lot of great players. We know what Gino is. We know how incredible he is. So I'm not trying to discredit them at all, but they do have a soft schedule, and that's just a fact. At number 2, you got UCLA. They are 27-1, and just want to shout out that one is against Texas. It was in the tournament over Thanksgiving, so it's been a while since they lost, but they lost to my team, so hook them.
I do love the
At
fact
number
that
3,
was
their
so
one
fast.
loss, Texas. At number 3, you got South Carolina. They are 27-2. One of their losses is also that same tournament to Texas. Texas was just really hot in that tournament. I will bring some criticism here. I felt like there have been a couple of things that Texas their head coach has said that I disagree with. And so, I want to show that I can be unbiased, even though I am biased. I love my team. I can also say when I think things are wrong. I'm not going to blindly follow. And he criticized the schedule, and you agree to the schedule. You came from Mississippi State. You know what it is to play in the SEC. So to criticize the regular season, I think you know what it is. You won a championship there at Mississippi State. So you know what it is to play in the SEC. It's no surprise what the conference tournament is. It is hard that in one calendar year you played South Carolina like 7 times. But some of those games were tournament games, which means you approved them. You chose it. So if you didn't want to play them that many times, why did you go to that tournament? He also criticized the ladies in the loss against Vanderbilt, who is a very good team, said that they had no heart, and that they were the softest group of ladies that he had coached. And while I don't mind him criticizing the game and saying that they played soft, because they played soft, to say that they're the softest group that he's ever coached, you're the coach. What does that say about you? So there's got to be some accountability, self-accountability in those statements. That's what I look for from my leaders. And while it was a bad game, it was a bad game. They beat us bad. They beat us by like 15 points. They were up the entire time. They looked incredible. And we all know what it's like to play at Vanderbilt. There's no air conditioning in that building. That is their home court advantage. So you know that they condition for it. You should condition for it. You should be ready for that. So once again, that's a coaching criticism there. So Texas at number 4, they're 26-3. They've lost to South Carolina in South Carolina. They've lost to Vanderbilt in Vanderbilt. They have not lost at home in like 3 years. So, I think home court advantage is something that's very real. I think South Carolina also has a similar run at home. We also lost to LSU at LSU. And that was a rough game too. So a lot of it, yes, take accountability with the players, but I think there was a lot of times that we were outcoached. And number 5, you got Vanderbilt. They're 25-3. Excellent team. At number 6, you got LSU. They're 24-4. OU at number 7. They are 21-6. I want to shout out Aaliyah Chavez. She is a local 806er here from Lubbock, Texas. She was the number 1 recruit last year, and she has already clocked 6 25-point plus performances this season. So, and she's yet to go to conference or the big tournament yet. At number 8, you got Michigan. And what I like about Michigan is that Texas pillaged their roster 2 years ago. Like, they took like 5 of their recruits, and they have turned it around, and they're in the top 10, and they're fighting hard, and they look good. A very solid, well-coached team. At number 9, you got Iowa. Hey, they're more than just Caitlin Clark. They're sitting at number 9. They're 22-5. I think they will be a very hard out come tournament time. At number 10, you got Louisville. They've fallen off a little bit. They lost to Georgia this past week. I think Georgia is a decent team. I don't think they're a great team. Certainly not one that you can just overlook clearly. But Louisville, very solid team as well. TCU at number 11, they've cooled off a little bit. They're 25-4 though. Similar to UConn, I know Big 12 is a power conference, but the level of competitions in women's basketball there is not the same as it was when Texas and OU was there. Even when Texas and OU were there, constantly it was Texas and OU in the championships games. So, yes, you have Iowa State with Audie Crooks and Jada Williams. And so there are a few pieces. Kansas State was really good there when they had Ioka Lee for a while. Like some 7 years. Tired of them giving college players like 7 and 8 years, but whatever. At number 12, you got Duke, who they had a rough start to the season and ended up winning like 14 games straight after that. So I think that they have turned it around. Let's see what Damon has to say about Michigan. Michigan has the big 3 sophomore group. And yeah, definitely have enjoyed watching them play this year. They're very well coached as well. At number 13, you got Ohio State. They're 23-5. No, they will definitely be a hard out as well come tournament time. It's, to me, the toughest conferences when it comes to women's basketball at the moment is Big Ten and SEC. ACC had a lot of their talent that was drafted last year. And so they have some very good teams, but they don't quite have the same punch that they had last year. But they had a record number 14 players that were drafted last year. The draft only drafts 36 players. So now that they've added that extra team. So, like they took almost half of the draft. At number 14, you got Maryland. They're 22-6, another Big Ten team, and they're tough as well. Michigan State, kind of a surprise to me at number 15 there. They are 22-6. Then you got Kentucky, coached by Kenny Brooks. They are 20-8. West Virginia, they are 22-6. A Big 12 team that I think maybe should be ranked a little bit higher. Really enjoy watching them. They are coached by a local guy from the 806 as well. Baylor, they are 24-6, and they are not looking as good as I thought that they would be. Ole Miss at number 19 after a couple of serious losses. And then Texas Tech at number 20. They're 24-5. Move them up in the rankings. They are a very solid team. Then UNC at 21, they are 23-6. Minnesota comes in at 22, they are 21-7. Georgia is now ranked, they are also 21-7. Bama at 24, they are 21-7. And then of course, we always got to have one Ivy League team, and it's Princeton this year. They are 21-3. I think that we will see a lot of the same players when it comes to deep tournament runs this year on the women's side of things. However, we've had a little bit of a shakeup. I think that we're going to see maybe a few more Big Ten teams go a little deeper. And I think there's going to be a surprise SEC loss somewhere.
Probably.
Nice.
Hopefully it's not Texas. There's my bias.
It could be anybody else but Texas. So.
All right, let's slide over to the NBA because it's been pretty exciting with the NBA as well. The Spurs beat the Pistons last night. I am so sorry, all my Michigan friends. The Pistons have the best record in the East, and they are no slouches whatsoever. I want to shout out Cade Cunningham. He had the chance to leave Detroit last year, which, in the Detroit sports world had been a common storyline for a really long time for the Pistons. And he stuck it out, and San Antonio was after him. I think we would have paid him. I don't know that we would have paid him a super max, but we probably would have paid him a max deal. And he stuck it out with Detroit, and it has been worth it. So I think that they've done really well. So as far as standings real quick, I'll just kind of run through the top 10 in each right now. Pistons at number 1, Celtics at number 2, Knicks at 3, Cavs at 4, Raptors at 5, Sixers at 6, the Magic at 7, the Heat at 8, Hawks at 9, and then the Hornets at 10. That's interesting because they're usually bottom of the barrel. At number 1 in the West, you got the OKC Thunder, then the Spurs, then the Rockets, who surpassed the Nuggets yesterday. Nuggets at number 4, the Lakers at number 5, Timberwolves at number 6, the Suns at number 7, the Warriors at 8, Trailblazers at 9, which I think is interesting. I don't think if they make the playoffs, I don't think they're necessarily an easy out. And then at number 10, you got the Clippers. I love that they're on decline. I hate Kawhi. Forever. All right, let's do a little spring training update. We've got the MLB is underway. They have played about 4 to 5 games, depending on the team. What do you want to talk about, Candy?
I want to mention that next week, actually, baseball. Well, first of all, Scott and I are probably going to go to our first spring training game on Sunday. We're going to try and catch a game. We are going to try and do basketball first. We're going to try and do Miami is playing down here against Boston College, I believe, on Saturday. And so we're going to try and go to that game and then switch gears and go to, spring training. We have I guess I'm lucky because I live in a state that the spring training is here. So we get to go. Yes. But I'm just excited for the season and excited. There's also World Baseball Classic is going to start, and that starts next week. And it's pretty.
Yeah, I'm already working baseball games. It's JUCO, and then we have some high school games as well at the same stadium that I work at, and so we're already experiencing baseball. It's just cold, super cold.
It's hard
why
to get
the tournament be so good today?
Right. Well, that. But also, it's hard to do a shift into summer sports when you're wearing layers upon layers of clothes to do.
But we're not down here in Florida. That's why we can have spring training down here in Florida.
Right.
Right. But we're warmer than y'all right now. Significant.
Now, yes.
So the Rangers have had a ton of changes. We moved on from Marcus Semien. He's now with the Mets. Sad face. And then Jonah Hyam. I'm sick about losing Jonah. He went to the Braves, obviously a quality organization. We re-signed John Montgomery, even though he's injured. And my question was, who the hell is he going to pitch to? So obviously, we still have one of our catchers from last year, Kyle Higashioka. So we have somebody that's been on the roster there for a while, but it's not Jonah. It's not our superstar. I like Kyle. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking him, but we had a superstar catcher and we let him go. And we let just about everybody go. I do believe that we have some solid pieces that we're moving up within the organization. Obviously, Wyatt moved up. He played last year for us in the bigs, but he moved up through the farm system. Had a chance to see him here in Amarillo, and knew that he was going to be a superstar when I saw him then. And I think they have some other pieces coming up within the farm program that might surprise throughout the season. So while we may not look like that championship team from 23, we still got Corey Seager. We still got Evaldi. We got a few pieces that are there. We do have a new skipper, and he's no slouch either. So he's won National League Manager of the Year. And so it's not terrible, but it's going to look different.
Well,
I think a lot of teams
I can. Go ahead, Candy.
There was a high turnover in baseball this year as far as movement.
And the one thing I would stress to everybody, if you want to see a baseball game, if you want to see a spring training game, go this year, because we are not guaranteed a season next year. There is going to be, they probably will be locked out. One thing I wanted to kind of touch on, because we talked about this the other night on our baseball show, the 2026 Dodgers are projected to pay a record-setting luxury tax of approximately $161.9 million to $169.6 million. Their tax bill alone exceeds the total payroll of 12 to 13 other major league teams total. Their tax. I know.
Hate it.
I know.
I did not enjoy the World Series this year.
No. And as much as people wanted to talk about the 23 series not having the viewership because it didn't have the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Braves in it, it was a homegrown, natural, organic World Series with the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. Now, don't get me wrong. The Rangers spent some cash. They spent $500 million to get Semien and Corey Seager there. So it's not that they didn't buy part of their team, because they did. And that's just the nature of sports in general, whether we're talking NCAA or majors. Like, that's just kind of the nature of sports now. But there has to be some type of cap on that,
There has to be some parity out there.
Agree. Like, we saw it with the Yankees for such a long time, that they could afford to be that good.
Right.
Not to take any credit away from the teams that they built, but when you pay for it, yeah. And that's exactly what the Dodgers are doing.
Exactly. Exactly. But enjoy baseball this year, because it will not be here next year, I don't think.
I don't see it happening, because it takes away from the product. It takes away from the product.
I have the same concerns with the WNBA season, and that'll be a different show for a different time. But it's looking like lockout very soon, even though we will be talking about them in our happy stories. It still is just not looking close to a season, at least not a whole season. I think they'll probably reach an agreement, but May is around the corner and they're supposed to start mid-May. They report to training camp a week after the draft. We're talking about March Madness. The championship game happens. Then the next Monday, the draft happens. Then the next Monday, they report to camp. So it's right around the corner. I don't know that we're going to have a full season this year. And shame on the league.
Shame on leadership.
Agreed. Change leadership.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, let's do our happy stories and let that be our evening.
Yes, ma'am. I do have to say that Carl Schwarber on his first at bat did hit a home run.
Yay.
Okay, love that.
Love that for me. I mean, for him.
My two teams, and I'm not a two-team advocate really, but one signs the paychecks and one I'm a fan of. So I'm going to go ahead and claim the Diamondbacks as well. They played each other today, and the Diamondbacks beat the Rangers. So there you go.
Oh, see, that's really fun because, like, when that happens in my household, it's really, really fun.
I remember those days.
Yes. Well, we have, because we have Phillies and Cardinals, and then we also have Chiefs and Eagles. But who's counting, right? Who's counting?
All right, let's do our happy stories real quick to end.
Okay, I'm going to lead with one, and then one of you can pick up with the other one. Pulling this off ESPNW, which is ESPN Women, and shout out to ESPN to making sure that the women do get the acknowledgement out there on the platforms. You can't win without women was the title. Here's to all the women Olympic athletes who picked up medals in Team USA in the Winter Olympics. 8 of the 12 golds were earned by women on the podiums. So that's pretty impressive. And it's been like that now, I think, for the last 3 games where the women have taken the larger amount of gold, represented more gold than the men. Not that it has to be a battle or competition. It just shows you that even though women's sports is a afterthought, in many cases, there's not a lot of professional leagues established as of yet across all the different sports. We do see the women getting the just rewards for their sacrifice and dedication to their goal, their passion. I love that.
Their sport, their country, all that.
Absolutely.
And I'll chime in on the other happy story because it is happy, but it also goes to show about some certain things about the WNBA. So the WNBA generated enough revenue in 2025, one season, to prompt revenue sharing with its players for the first time in history. All 13 teams will receive $8 million to disperse amongst the players. So you cannot tell me that the league does not make money anymore. If that's your narrative, you're false. It's been false. And they haven't shared the numbers publicly ever. So those numbers that you think that you find on Google, they're incorrect. They're estimations. All righty. Well, that's our show. I thought it was lovely. Love everybody that watched the show, that commented, that shared it. We appreciate you guys so much. Really appreciate you ladies meeting up with y'all every week. And we will see y'all next week, the same time. Love you guys.
Love you.